Hello there, I'm Jose,
And I'm Krista,
and we are connecting remodeling.
a luxury residential remodeling company here in Los Angeles. We're general contractors and we get a lot of questions. So over the next couple episodes, we want to discuss some of the questions that we hear about sometimes from people. This day, specifically, we're going to talk about bathroom remodeling. So can I ask you a couple questions and you give me your thoughts?
Absolutely. I'll do my best answers.
Okay, so we're gonna cover what's the difference between a standard bathroom remodel and a luxury bathroom renovation.
Yeah.
So what would you consider a luxury renovation versus a standard bathroom remodel?
Okay, so I'm going to start with a standard. A standard really means off-the-shelf products. Also, when it comes to doing a off-the-shelves, products, the other thing that follows commonly on these standard remodels in the bathrooms, we don't tend to relocate features, electrical features or plumbing features. They usually will remain in place. Now, the products used are going to be, like I mentioned, off-the-shelf products, which are, your standard typical products that you find,
Anywhere.
at your favorite store
IKEA.
nearby you. The products, let's say if we're talking about like the shower, you're looking at fiberglass plastic materials. You know, when it comes to the sink vanity areas, the vanity will be made out of more of, compressed wood versus solid wood. Tiling will be more like vinyl plank instead of your actual tile flooring. That would be more like on the standard. Now
On the luxury side.
On the luxury side, first you will gut the whole walls.
Well, I have something to add to what you said about the standard because I feel like sometimes a standard remodel is you sometimes don't even take down stuff. So you might keep the shower and just change the vanity, or you might even go down to like the studs. But like you said, you will have more of the off the shelves products, and it's pretty much a like for like swap. So like if your shower is over here on the left, you're going to swap everything on the left. Like everything will stay in the same position. When we say everything, we mean like the plumbing fixtures, the electrical fixtures. But for standard, like you said, the compressed wood, that's called MDF, and you'll see a lot of it. And we don't recommend that in bathrooms at all because obviously it's compressed wood, it's not solid wood, so has more ability to disintegrate.
Yeah, much
But
faster.
the also for standards, sometimes the tile work, if you are laying new tile and you are redoing your whole bathroom, the tile work can be like very what we call in our like contracts, we'll call it standard lay. If somebody wants like a standard bathroom remodel, and we'll talk about like subway tile lay, or like just a very simple way to lay tiles down, like they go down, there's no intricacies like herringbone or things like that. And then what would we consider like a luxury remodel?
Yeah, the luxury remodel first one, it will start with, having a designer already on board. When it comes to restarting the whole thing, like you will gut the whole thing all the way to the studs. Why? Because at that point, you're gonna relocate your electrical features, outlets, switches. If you're gonna have any internal lighting, like for example, LED lighting that can be hidden, behind the mirror, in the corners of the room itself, on the niche of the shower. That will be more on the lighting side. The plumbing, same. The plumbing, you basically want to get all the plumbing related to the walls that are internally in the bathroom, at least all the way to, if you have a crawl space, all the way there. Why? Because you want to have everything brand new. Because what you're going to be doing there is going to take so much, such a really good investment that you don't want to bother the walls in the future. So that's why all the features when it comes to the water, you want to get them all the way down, brand new, to a crawl space, accessible from a different area, but not from the bathroom itself. Now,
yeah, so you don't have to like ruin anything that you're newly installing.
Yeah.
And just on the design side of that, I would say like when I go back to like herringbone, like the materials are tend to be higher quality. We might be using marble, we might be using a herringbone lay for the tiles, or decorative blinds with bullnose. So something I think we didn't mention for a lot of standard bathroom, get what's called oh my gosh, my brain is the aluminums.
Like Sluters
They're like
versus
splitters, so
tile trims.
they're aluminum trims that go on the edge of the tile versus like what is a pencil tile that kind of finishes the tile nicely, or a bullnose tile where it's like a rounded edge.
Or miter cuts.
Yeah, or miter cuts. So those are more like luxury when there's more intricate tile work involved. I would say sometimes wallpaper, which is like a very deceiving luxury thing, because that is actually, to get it really well installed, you need a good wallpaper person. Um, and sometimes, like, we've done like Venetian plaster. You might have a different style glass for the door. Like a standard, you might not even have a glass door. You might just have like a shower curtain. But for luxury, you definitely want to have some type of glass, different sort of lighting, maybe multiple mirrors with front lighting. I know, like for makeup, that's nice versus the standard vanity light. And then either custom carpentry, like in terms of vanities. Also, you might have a separate bathtub and a shower. So that's a little more considered luxury to have that separation, and also to kind of like move stuff around. So like I was saying, the shower's over here and you doing a remodel, everything stays in the same place plumbing wise. But for luxury, you relocate things to different places. So you basically, like Jose said, gut everything down to the studs, and then you have this box or whatever shape, and you can kind of play with it and put stuff everywhere. I also think another luxury addition is when a luxury bathroom remodel is when we knock down a wall and build the bathroom into whatever space. We push the bathroom out further. A lot of bathrooms are like really small, especially in older homes. So if they're doing a remodel, you can knock down the wall and move the bathroom out and make it even bigger. Add a second, like say you have a tub and a shower together, you can knock down the wall and put a tub there, or put a toilet room, which is like, I think toilet rooms are the most important thing. You need a toilet room separate from the shower. If you're doing a remodel, that would be ideal for, especially for a luxury bathroom remodel.
Yeah, and overall, there's so many other very interesting features to you can add to a luxury remodel to still, accommodate to the space that you're building. One of them is, not usually common to people to do it on standards, but when it comes to luxury, you can add heated floors, for example. When it comes to the drains and the shower, a lot of the times we do a lot of hidden drains, something you're not like, there's not a dinosaur you're looking at, but versus that a nice hidden drain that you didn't even see, but it's there doing the functionality it needs to do.
I love when we do the hidden drains, actually. I like that.
Yeah,
we do the hidden drains, and we do like lighting that's integrated into the showers. And I think it's so awesome to have so much different lighting in your bathroom, because you can make it, your bathroom is a functional space where I'm getting ready, or going to the bathroom, or like it's just a calming space. And I like when we do the lighting with different areas, so you have many options, like a vanity light, overhead lighting, big light, and then you have like shower lighting, and just a lot of different lighting options. I think is great.
Yeah, and there's so many things you can also play, with the plumbing. You can do some custom plumbing. For example, I like the idea of, for example, having your handle not
separate, right?
Completely separate from where you come in and turn it on. A lot of the times you open it, you get in the shower right away. You can have that handle on the opposite side of the wall, more dedicated to where it accommodates the room, not necessarily the standard install. You can play with the sections where your rain shower will be, if that's the case, or your handhelds. It just overall allows you to be more creative, when it comes to doing a little bit of custom plumbing versus just the standard, which is
And I like the separate handhelds, like on a different side, and sometimes obviously like you can have a little glass opening to reach in. But I like the separate handhelds because obviously, like, I don't want to get my hair wet all the time, so I don't want to be standing there and get my hair wet or try to jump out or whatever. So I like that better too.
Yeah. And and other features, a lot of the times, because not necessarily because your bathroom's small, you cannot do luxury. Even though your bathroom could be small, you can still play around, with what you have already. Like a lot of things could be recess. You can have a recess niche where you can do a little hideout. Keep some good paneling.
Yeah, small spaces, you have to really make what you have functional, but also I think better quality materials, like we said, miter cuts, those kind of things can really elevate a small space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we're talking, say, a standard bathroom remodel, I think this might be more my question, but I'm not sure, but what would we consider like a realistic budget for a standard? I mean, and let's say we're a standard includes a tub, a shower. It's not a powder room. This is a
Mm-hmm.
full bathroom, but shower and tub combined. There is a bathtub in this
Mm-hmm.
standard bathroom, and no separate toilet room. So it's all just
Just
that.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say your standard build, without moving many fixtures around, you are basically at 15 to 20K. That is just labor and rough materials. You will also have to allow for other features that you might not be accounting for in here, which is your faucet, your shower valve,
Tile, anything aesthetic that you see.
so for the rough, you're looking at that 15 to 20. To the rest of it on the standard, it's also not gonna go a whole lot because you still sticking to standard materials.
I would say like 5 grand. So in total for a standard, you to be realistic, you want to budget 20 to 25 grand. I would say we see is like 25 for a standard bathroom remodel.
Mm-hmm.
And it can go like up to 30, really depends on what's needed because a lot of times if you're remodeling your standard bathroom, there's a high likely that there's some plumbing issues and that can add up pretty quickly. So you want to anticipate, I would say a 10% budget on top of that for contingency or unforeseen. That way, I mean, like we've said before, the worst thing that can happen is there's no funds and the project has to stop. And you don't want that when you don't have a bathroom like this bathroom you need.
Not only that, because we have mentioned in the past that it can hurt both the client and the contractor, because the contractor already has a schedule that cannot stop. The schedule had to keep moving because the people that he already has assigned, you cannot just send them anywhere else. They were prepped to get here. So having that contingency that Krista mentioned, it's always key to have. Why? Because it allows you and the contractor to make decisions faster.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times that we just found out that they were wrong, it'll stop you from finishing what you already are doing. So you have to finish it as quick as possible and right, and in order to continue what you already had scheduled.
Yeah, so all in all, like a standard bathroom, I would say a good budget to anticipate is 25,000. I know that sounds like a lot here in Los Angeles. I mean, on average, we see that's like a starting point, and the reason being for this budget, because I mean, we've heard about. I'll give you an example. We heard this yesterday, right? That a guy did a bathroom and he charged $7,000 to do the bathroom, but because the budget wasn't allowing, he didn't waterproof the shower, which is like astounding to us.
Yeah.
And this was 3 years ago, and the bathrooms already has to get done. And I can't tell you how many times we've seen a low like budget bathroom have to get redone within an average of like three years, and most likely it's probably had to be redone sooner, but they found out there was a leak because it started to show after 3 years. So that means that there's most likely mold, mildew, like we've seen so much drama for that. So I think if you're setting a realistic budget for a standard remodel, 25K is what you're going to expect here in Los Angeles and greater Los Angeles areas. For like luxury, that obviously can go way up. So it's not going to start at 25. I would say it'll probably start around 40. And then can go, that's the starting budget. It can go super far. We've seen really beautiful fixtures, and toilets, things that normally would cost for a standard $100 to $300 cost thousands and thousands of dollars. But standard, I would say starting budget to be safe is 25K. So in terms of like the bathroom, so a homeowner can kind of like make sure that the right path is being taken by their contractor and they don't end up with no waterproofing, what permits are required? And we can kind of talk a little bit about permit cost is really hard to talk about, but people ask like what permits are actually required for different types of bathroom remodel projects.
Yeah, so that's always a good question. So the permits always vary. It varies by the location because, for example, LA from Redondo is completely different. Building and safety departments. But one thing I can say that aligns is if you're working on a residential,
Home.
a home type of remodel versus a residential in a condominium, they're treated different by the city. For example, if you're in a residential in a home, you're allowed to pull in a combo permit.
Yeah.
That basically covers your plumbing, your building, and your electrical. It covers it all in one. When you are doing a more of a commercial, you have to pull a permit separately.
The condos are kind of classified as commercial, so you still have to pull the like building permit, which is a general building permit. Like it
Right.
basically says someone's going to be doing something here.
There's going to be noise going on.
Yeah. But you also will have to pull plumbing, electrical, and mechanical.
Right.
Yeah.
Mechanical if it's something that needs to happen.
Yeah, if that needs to be swapped.
Yeah. Which I want to jump on this ones because we have done so many bathroom remodels, and because previously these bathrooms they were done by other contractors that they were kind of cutting corners. Somehow I always find these exhaust vents that were installed
that aren't going anywhere.
not going anywhere. They're just venting into a crawl space or a attic. Honestly, it's always good to consider to redo them brand new again. Not only because let's say it was done right, but it's been there for 30 years. That stuff, that tubing is just full of stuff
Dust,
that you don't want to be involved in. So always account to redo everything new. So you have.
Well, what are the risks associated with that? With the and this kind of tanging off, but like when the exhaust fan from the bathroom, because right, we always see that. We always see this exhaust fan that doesn't go anywhere. It's supposed to vent outside.
Correct.
Always, but they tend to not. What are the risks? What are some of the risks that you can just come off the top of your head associated when the exhaust fan either A doesn't vent outside or B it's very, very old tubing?
Yeah. So the first risk you're gonna be facing there is moisture being blown into your attic. What does that mean, right? So once it goes into the attic, it doesn't really have a place to vent that easy. It might, even though there might be some vents that leads to the outside of the house, but the tubing itself is just venting in the open space. A lot of the times, over time, we have found like mildew. Mildew is being growing there, and because it's constantly moist, so it just stays active. Now, all that environment now turns a little toxic because now that all that starts returning into the house itself. So
circulating
moisture retention, and then that leads to mildew and mold essentially. It's one of the big ones that we always find. Plus, it's also, what is the purpose of a vent, right? That one is take all the moisture outside the house. The other one is just, when anybody just go to use the bathroom, all that needs to go ideally outside. What is the point of just venting it inside the house?
What's the point of venting it into the attic and just returning back into your home?
It just come back a little filter, but it's still there.
We talk a lot about bathroom exhausts.
Yeah, we just
we get it.
We were supposed to do one of this remodel, and we ended up doing two because that one that we were supposed to keep, it was just installed wrong.
Yeah, it had to just get tossed and redone, and that happens a lot. Actually, we always I feel like that's the thing is when you first see a bathroom, you're like, oh, this looks really nice. When we first see a bathroom, like it's been remodeled, we're like, why are you redoing it? And how long ago was this? They'll say 3 years, 5 years, and then we'll start looking at some of the details, and we'll look at the edges, and we'll see slopes that aren't going towards the drains, like the benches sometimes will slope backwards. We'll see the exhaust fan issue. We'll see a variety of issues that we're like, oh no, this is bad. And it sucks because people end up actually spending a lot more, and I think we've talked about this like repeatedly, is when you get this like low budget, um be really wary of it because you can easily and quickly end up spending quite a bit more, or in 3 years spending what you were already quoted 3 years ago. So it's kind of like, just be wary of it. Make sure that the permits are getting pulled for your bathroom, that the contractor has all the details involved, and they're actually doing your bathroom right, which waterproofing is super essential, and it's like the biggest cornerstone, I would say.
Yeah, and going back again to having if the contractor has a low budget because that was the estimate that he gave to get himself in the door, um, and not having the bathroom being done through permits, believe me,
It's very rare that
it's really rare
you're gonna find the right person that did your bathroom well.
Yeah, correct. Why? Because when they're in a low budget, they're skipping a lot of steps. We've seen it a lot. They're trying to do it as fast as possible, and since they know it's not going to get inspected by a city, they're just going one trade to another. They're not having the times where an inspector comes in and sees the work and approves it, signs it off, so you can move on.
Yeah.
We understand that process is a little slower, and that's what a lot of contractors tend to hate because it slows out. It's really slow the project. But that was technically the contractor's fault because one, they have to allow time for those inspections.
Yeah, and the time costs money, which is why the I think truly the accurate budget to anticipate is about 25K. And that will make sure that, I mean, you have bathroom for years at that point.
Yeah.
And it's gonna really set you up with a good experience.
Yeah.
So I have another question, and this one's kind of strange. That's written down. What's the difference between hiring a general contractor versus a specialized bathroom remodeling contractors? And I think I kind of know what the difference is because a lot of general contractors focus on kitchens and bathrooms. But anybody that specializes, because we would say our specialties are bathrooms, kitchen, carpentry, and just bringing hospitality into it. We're general contractors. But I would say if you just hire a general contractor without understanding what they specialize in, they could potentially be specializing in framing or new builds. And I think the difference between a general contractor is one of them can build, which we're general contractors, we can build, but we like to focus on finishing, and that's kind of our sort of specialty. And finishing meaning tile work, finishing carpentry, and your bathroom, yeah, you want it to be built properly by a general contractor, but you want somebody that also can ensure that your tile, the final result is going to look good, because I guarantee there are general contractors out there that know how to do framing, and they have foundation, and they build homes, but when it comes to the finishing,
Yeah.
it's almost like that's where a lot of people really freak out and lack, because there's so much detail involved on the finishing. So I would say that's the big difference between a general contractor and a contractor who specializes in bathrooms.
Yeah, so that is correct. A lot of contractors, and there's many contractors that choose not to do the finishing work. Why? Because that is the slow part of the work. Because is I would say it's very fast to per foundation, build your walls. But when it comes to getting the home to look great where you want it, that takes precision. That takes uh, overall detail. A detailed person also, someone they can let you know in advance, give you the confidence that one, they've been doing it for a very long time. Because when somebody just take the job and they're just gonna be just wingly there, it never goes the right way.
Yeah. And this one, because this one's also a little interesting. It's, how do modern bathroom trends impact a remodeling budget and timeline? And I would say, like, weirdly, people think I'm always the designer. I'm actually not a designer. I focus more on logistics. But I do enjoy like design work, and I do have a pretty keen eye on finishing.
Yes, you do.
Details. Well, I mean, I kind of have like an art degree, so maybe that helps. But I'm not a designer.
Yeah.
We work with great designers, and they all have different styles, traditional, modern. So personally, me, I don't ever recommend trends at all. But I kind of we're really blessed to be in Los Angeles, where a lot of people they either themselves have so much experience in design that they do it themselves, or they understand right away that we need an interior designer, a building designer, somebody to design the final look. But I never recommend like going on trends because it's so risky unless you're going to do your bathroom every couple of years, which by all means follow the trends. But modern trends, how they impact a budget and a timeline. I think the biggest thing that actually impacts the budget and the timeline is not knowing what you want right away because that could change the timeline, that could change the budget. With everything, like obviously, like this is September 2025. So there's a lot of changes in costs because of like tariff talk and whatnot. So the costs quickly change depending on when you decide to do it. So I know that even for a standard bathroom, there's a cabinet company. They do prefabricated cabinets for like standard bathrooms, vanities, and whatnot. And I got a email from them that they're actually changing. They're adding I think it's like 50% to they're anticipating 50% increase, and that's starting on October 1st. So the budget now could wildly change later. But in terms of like modern bathroom trends, I would say one of the things that really impacts a budget there is accessibility to materials. If something's very popular, it might not be as accessible. Or if it's just new popular, it might not be as accessible. But I don't know. I don't ever recommend following trends. I just recommend it's your house. You should do whatever you want, right?
Yeah. Also, trends tend to be, getting so much popularity through DIYers. People are just doing it themselves. Also, a lot of people collect budgets from these people doing it, and it's a very unrealistic.
Yeah, that's a big one is like following trend advice from a DIYer is a little risky, especially when you're analyzing costs because a DIY micro cement is going to be a different cost than having a professional install micro cement or apply micro cement or Venetian plaster or something like that, which is a big modern trend we see. But it can look really poorly done if it's not done professionally. I would say.
And this is always something I always mention. I know that when somebody is trying to go for looks and they find someone doing it and they did it, the time is never realistic. They never share entirely the time really took. And I can always say I guarantee that once you look at it in person up close,
it's a little different, yeah.
It's a little rough. It's a little rough. We've seen it always where they took a photo, a video, and it looked great on the photo and the video, but in person, it just doesn't have the quality and the technique that really is necessary to get this work where it needs to be.
And most likely the longevity. So if we're talking like modern trends, and specifically we'll talk like micro cement trend, I've seen people online and it looks great. It does look great. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
They'll just apply it over the tile. But you and I both know that these things actually do require some type of
bonding.
They require more prep work than most likely is put in. So maybe it looks great, but for how long? I can't see that lasting 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't want it to, but a lot of people probably don't want to DIY their bathroom every couple of years.
Yeah, and also most of the time, we see somebody giving people ideas to how they can, turn their bathroom in a very low budget. They're just talking about superficial things. They're talking about aesthetic. They're not really going into the heart, the veins, the structure of these.
Yeah, Jose's got a good point because actually I think on the aesthetic side quite a bit more, and you think heavily on, hey, you're gonna remodel your bathroom, you should consider redoing the plumbing because if you're like if you like he said earlier, if you're trying just to kind of skip this step, you're gonna have to probably like who knows how if it's a remodel, who knows how old the rest of the plumbing is, and it could potentially be very old. You want to make sure that you're not destroying this remodel after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You want it to last longer than that, because it's like if you're going to spend any amount of money, you want to make sure that you don't have to break down the tile to access the plumbing that probably should have been done at the same time.
Yeah, that is correct. And we're talking about the rough-ins, the areas that normally nobody think about because they're like inside the walls, they're under, your floor and your ceiling, and you don't have access to see this, but this is where, a contractor, somebody, there is a professional in the industry, is there to guide, and really to really without a question or thinking, that is something that needs to happen, and I recognize that it needs to happen all the time, but it's my job to bring it in and really help people to understand, the importance about getting this work done inside your walls before you move on to finishings.
And that kind of like tangents to the next question, which is, what are the most common mistakes homeowners make when planning their bathroom remodeling budget?
I can start with.
I know, I'm like, I can think of, we probably have the same one.
Yeah.
What's yours? First one.
It's let's go back again to the DIYers.
Yeah,
they looked it up, and those, because it was a very popular video, that's what they started seeing. They share with them how much they spend, and they really go with a really unrealistic understanding of what a bathroom really costs. And when they get super disappointed when they get there, because the contractor that gets them a price, they'll give them a price based on, where they are.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I was gonna say the most common mistake, the top number one, is under like a homeowner makes when they're planning their bathroom remodeling budget, is underassuming what it costs. I think one of the most frustrating things for us as contractors is we spend a lot of time to analyze how much it costs for us to do something, to try to keep numbers tight for our homeowners, but also to provide quality work. Quality work means working with quality people, and pulling permits properly, that kind of thing. So making sure that the job is done smoothly. Our goal is always to make sure that homeowners get to just kind of like have the easiest experience, because it's very stressful. Mm-hmm. So we try to make it less stressful. But the biggest thing is definitely going in with a low budget expectation. I don't think that there is a budget that's 5K that's realistic. But if you Google it, you will see right away that the budget is like here, here, here. And that data is, a lot of it's coming from just DIYers over time that have given their budget or whatever. But it's extremely unrealistic, especially with the changing costs so fast. I would say like we go back to 25K mentally, for a standard bathroom. Obviously, if it's less, great. But you want to put that expectation number in your head. That's what I would say is the number one. I mean, there's definitely, what are some other mistakes they make with their remodeling budget?
Yeah, the other one that I can see very common is when you never done it before, like when you never are living in the same space where the remodel is happening, how much will impact you?
Oh yeah, but that's not even budget wise, but that's a big one.
It kind of affects budget, because a lot of the times people tend to live in a space that cannot be touched, and because it cannot be touched, it has to be almost considered as a different, a different remodel, because it's happening at different times.
Well, I would say, like, just to say what other things people don't understand about just remodeling budget, I think is how much sort of two things. I would say not anticipating the unforeseen, like plumbing issues, which is super common, especially if you're remodeling your bathroom that you just remodeled less than 5 years ago. If you're remodeling it because there was a leak, most likely there's plumbing issues that we can't, framing issues at this point, like we can't see it. So I would say underestimating the unexpected, specifically plumbing and framing issues. And I would also say another one is not really understanding or anticipating how much the aesthetic materials might cost. So I gave 5K as like an average for a standard remodel. But that so quickly can be higher. Because I'm talking, those are like the we're looking at sales, so
right. Which off is the shelf products.
Off the shelves, super salesy, like very standard. So definitely not anticipating that. And then just another mistake they make when planning their bathroom remodel, like you said, is not realizing how much it's going to impact them in general, like their livelihood.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Especially one because you don't have access to these facilities, and it's not just for like a few days. We're talking about
Well,
weeks.
that's one of my questions is how long does a typical bathroom remodel take? Because I know how long sometimes it takes us, and
Mhm.
people have said, "Oh my gosh, that's so fast," but like for an average.
I would say to stay on a safe environment, you're looking at about, with inspections and all, between 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I would say honestly, for us, I would say average is about 3 weeks,
Mm.
3 to 4 weeks with inspections. But I would say other contractors commonly we've heard like they take like 4 to 6 weeks, like is their average.
And sometimes they take more. I don't understand why.
Me neither.
But we
We're like, why are you there for so long? Get out.
yeah,
Get in, do the work, go.
just a quick story. That one friend that you met, she didn't know we were contractors, but they worked for months remodeling a bathroom, and that's
Yeah, we hear so many stories where like people oh gosh. Yeah, they were remodeling their bathroom for months. And for us it's the opposite. We write such a tight schedule. And we also try to be very considerate of holidays. So if there's a holiday coming up, we're working on Saturdays. We're crunching it out to try to get because we know the best gift that we could give somebody for a holiday is to let them live in their home again without us.
I know I did mention that I didn't know, but it just popped to my head. I find out recently in many of the events why a lot of contracts are actually taking longer time, and it's because they had a low budget and they were not sending the people every day. And when they were sending people, they were sending them like midday,
Midday,
for a couple of hours
every other day,
every other day.
because they can't keep their people there because the job is too low budget.
Yeah. So that low budget tends to, create so many uh, unrealistic expectations, and most of the times people really get hurt financially, and it's just something to really keep in mind that you want to have a very realistic understanding of what this takes. What budget you will need, what kind of time will be impacted during this process, and overall, get a professional that can understand you, got you through a process.
So one of my last questions is, what's the difference between a bathroom renovation and a full bathroom remodel? I would, I kind of have an answer to that. So I would say, a bathroom renovation is when you're doing like a small change. Maybe you're just changing the toilet. Maybe you're painting the walls. Maybe you're adding tile to the walls that wasn't there before, or wallpaper. Maybe you're just swapping the vanity. So you're probably not changing everything. And a full bathroom remodel is when we bring it, pull down everything, the walls, everything. So we're down to the studs in the bathroom, and we really have a blank space to work with. Whether it be the standard, where you're keeping what we call like for like, all the fixtures for the plumbing, all the electricals in the same spot. But you're really starting from a blank slate, or you're moving stuff. That would be more a custom like bathroom remodel versus like a short renovation where you're just kind of like, I mean, we've done that with our bathroom at home one weekend where I was like, I don't like these floors. Let's change the floors. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that would be a renovation versus a full bathroom remodel.
Yeah, like it's like a line makeover just for your bathroom versus the full gut and restore over.
I actually can't think of this answer, and I think it's because I'm not a real estate agent, but which bathroom feature provides the best return on investment for your remodel? Bathroom features. I mean, lighting, I would say, is a big one. Integrated lighting is a huge one. Lighting and mirrors. Maybe if you have a toilet there and you make a toilet room, I think that's a big selling point. I'm not a real estate agent, so I don't know these. People ask me this stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea.
The majority of the times that we get to be in the position where we heard about, does this increases,
The value.
the value of the homes. I will say that it does, but how much is the question? Because when you do your bathroom, is mainly for your use. You're there, you're the one really taking the benefit. We heard like random things that actually increases the value.
Yeah, like garage door,
like garage doors.
I mean, I know that's not bathroom, but
changing your front door.
Yeah, I genuinely feel like that question doesn't kind of fall in our wheelhouse because we don't, and the truth is, we commonly work with people who are homeowners or they're buying a home. We rarely work with people who are selling their home, and it's because we see ourselves more as like forever home builders. We want to give you remodelers more say we want to focus on giving you the home that you're going to live in. We're really focused on hospitality, our client homeowner experience. And I think that that's something that matters more to somebody, you know, when you have your stuff in your house, you have your family in your house, this is your house that you're keeping. That's kind of where we land. So when it comes to like selling or the value in general, I would say that's more a question for your real estate agent, appraisers, like those kind of people. For us, our focus is what do you like, what do you want, what do you need, and how we can get that to you as quickly and as stress free as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. That will be our focus mainly, just to give you that need, that desire of your dream space.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if you're gonna remodel your bathroom, that's your bathroom, Like don't we spend most of our time in the bathroom, kitchen, and asleep. Those are the main areas in your home.
Correct, yeah, and truly, it will never change. Bathroom and kitchens, one are the most complex because those are areas that there's so many mechanical things that need to be functioning at all times to work as one, to give you, you got your water to go somewhere, your ventilation goes somewhere. And once again, there's so many things, like I said, they're happening inside your walls that they're not always a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one more question before we end this.
Mhm.
How this is asked, how do you choose between different bathroom remodeling contractors when comparing bids? So, how does a homeowner choose their contractor? I mean, there's a few ways we can kind of discuss it, but you go first.
One is ask him straight questions. What is your experience?
Yeah.
What areas do you've been working? Can we see some of your work? Can we talk to some of your previous clients? Those are things that you're allowed to ask, and we should be able to give them to you.
And I would say like when you're actually looking at their bids like written down, um I mean, never. I would probably say never go with the cheapest one because I feel like that never leads to going with the cheapest one is rarely the one that's going to give you the best experience, unless you have this really good feeling about them. But I would say probably avoid the cheapest one. And what I would say is look at the details. So make sure that there's details included that you really understand what's included, what's not included. Is this contractor offering to review it with you? I know a lot of contractors don't take the time to even offer that, which is weird. And I would say definitely some red flags are if it's just very vague, their bids, if they're missing their license info, I would make sure that's there and check it. Like, we've seen like some people had like licensed stuff that they weren't even licensed, so it's fake.
Yeah.
And I would just make one thing that I say is make sure it looks clean and organize the bids. So if you're basing it first and foremost on the paper bids, I would say make sure you're receiving clear information that's written in a way that you can understand, or that they offer to go through it with you. Because I think to me, what I always say is, we try to give clean, easy to understand bids to our clients. And the reason I emphasize that is I say if we can't take the time to do that on paper, how can we expect somebody to trust us to take the time to do that with their home,
Yeah, absolutely. The all these contracts, these estimates, they don't have to be just black and white. They can have description. They can give you a easier way to understand what are you getting and what are you not getting. It's very important to identify these features because if it's not there, most likely you won't get it. So If it's not there, don't expect to, have it. So it's better to understand that before any work, any money transactions start going.
Any last note regarding bathroom remodels, standard luxury for homeowners that you want to end with? So one last little thing.
Yeah, if you're remodeling your bathroom, you make sure you have another one that is functional.
Yeah, that's
Especially if you live there.
yeah, you can't that feels given, but we have had people who have one bathroom try to remodel it while they're living there, and that's just not possible.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna remodel your bathroom while you're
No, no, no. And it just won't happen. And by not having it or just having one that probably and a second one that doesn't function right, gosh, there's going to be some stress, and it already be some type of stress because the construction, especially at the very beginning, we always know that's not the prettiest scene, because you're taking something apart.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. So
Yes.
you don't want to, a forgotten nail gets lot, and
No.
you don't want any of that.
Yeah.
If I were to leave on a note, I would say, going back to the original budget discussed, I know that can be quite shocking to some people, especially if you're in another state. But I think 20 to 25K is a safe,
Standard.
really standard budget that you can expect a quality contractor to provide you a really nice standard bathroom in Los Angeles and the greater Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
So I feel like that number, we don't see it online, but we have talked to other contractors. We ourselves have worked on our numbers, and here in Los Angeles, I would say that is the budget that you're probably going to want to anticipate for a standard bathroom, 20 to 25K.
Yeah, I also I want to add something before we go, like, because size matters.
Yeah, if it's a huge bathroom, that's different.
The standard bathroom sizes, they start somewhere about, let's say, 5 by 8, 5 by 10, 6 by 10, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, they don't have
talking about.
Standard bathrooms don't have like closets, like walk-in. They're just a bathroom.
It was just to clear it out.
Okay, so thank you. I hope we covered all the questions that we had regarding this, and we hope to see you soon, right?
Yes, thank you, and see you all on the next one.
Yeah, thanks.